The fact I'm looking at this right now might still be the most amazing thing I've ever seen in my life. Cincinnati Bengals, no injuries to report. I could cry. I could actually cry because that is such a beautiful fact. Anyway, other than the fact that we don't got to deal with injuries, well, Cleveland does. Cleveland, Cleveland, Cleveland. Oh, Cleveland. You guys and your Cleveland. Anyway, I don't know where I was going with that. Let's talk about their injury report. So Joe Antonio had a rest day on, it looks like, Wednesday. He had a limited participant process, says rest day. Obviously, we do play on Sunday, so they're going to do the Wednesday, Thursday, Friday process. Probably a light walkthrough on Saturday, just because it's the first week of the season, I would assume. And then you're going to have a Sunday game, obviously. Now, of course, they play at home, so they don't have to, travel. Normally, that Saturday will be, a travel day for us, for example. And for any team in that situation, that's usually the travel day, Saturday. But for, them playing at home, they're, again, like I said, I feel like they're probably going to do, a little small walkthrough. Nothing too crazy special, just something small. So we might get, an extra day on this injury report. Muhammad Diabate, quadricep injury, limited participant process. Mike Hall did not process. Shelby Harris, limited participant in process. He's actually currently sick with an illness. That's the worst time to get sick, right before the season starts. Cornelius Lucas, ankle injury, full participant in process. He's one of their tackles. Their starting center has a knee injury, and he currently is limited in process. Cedric Tillman did have a full participant in process. That's one of the guys that obviously is one of their starting wide receivers, and that's a guy that was kind of being talked up and down, whether or not he would, be okay to play. And it looks like he obviously got a positive update for them. Cedric Tillman, in my opinion, is a really underrated receiver. He's a guy that can go 0 to 100 real fast. So, Denzel Ward, limited participant in process with a shoulder injury. Kind of weird how this is the guy who's texting Joe Burrow saying, "Throw the ball at me. I want to be involved in this game. Definitely throw the ball at me." And he's the one who's on the injury report? Okay. I mean, hey, all power to him, Sometimes you just got to make a statement, I guess. Anyway, we got Blake Whiteheart. Knee injury. Limited participant in process. So, nothing too crazy in all honesty for their injury report. Obviously, just like us, they're going to have guys who are on IR, who won't, be playing this game. Just kind of how it is. But for the most part, it seems like a pretty simple injury report. No one too crazy injured, or let alone won't play. So we should have ourselves a full-on Week 1 typical matchup where we have a full loaded roster, they have a full loaded roster, and let the best AFC North man win. And let the Cleveland Brownies lose. Take that for what you want it to take it as. Now, on a real note, though, again, this is going to be a tough game. So, shout out to the fact that, Joe Flacco, we just got to get pressure on him. That's all I got to say. We got to get pressure with Joseph Asai. We got to get pressure, which obviously Shamar Stewart's the backup for this game. Joseph Asai will be the starter. We got to get pressure on Joe Flacco. We got to get him rattled. He's not a mobile quarterback. Get to him, move him around, and the fact that the center is somewhat banged up, maybe that will give us a little bit of an advantage in this game to actually get after Joe. So that's kind of my mindset. Again, like I said, it is what it is. Injuries are part of football, and fact that we're going into this game with 0 injuries might be the most beautiful thing, again, like I said, that I've ever seen. Because that is something that we always deal with, is all these stupid injuries starting off the year. we get setbacks, we have problems, and then it ends up being our downfall in the end. This year, so far, knock on wood, knock on every piece of wood we have, doesn't seem like the issue so far. Again, I am knocking on the biggest piece of wood I have. Pause on that. Anyway, 12 inches of wood. Sorry, my bad. Guys, let me know below your thoughts, opinions. I'll see you guys next one.